Welcome back to mech200. Today, nice boring object to keep ourselves on the straight and narrow. I'm going to draw this, I don't know what it is, stair bracket, standard part. We'll notice it's not totally asymmetric. It's kind of got a strange mirroring across, the positive and negative mirror across the bend. It's quite thick, so we'll emphasize that. And this today is going to be a big kerfuffle about how to measure in space. So what we're going to do is start by drawing this as if it was filled in, do the cutouts, do the holes, and we'll be done. A little bit of shading, cross hatching, and so forth, the usual. There is a sketch that comes with this. I'll post it. So I've already measured this up. So this is what I came up with. I actually just put it right on here. So, and just measured it. It is an inch part. It's American. It's from standard building part. And we've got all these measurements here. We can make it about double size. So I'm going to make my unit. Actually, I'm going to measure this for the first time. I'm using quite a big ruler here. Draw it as large as I can. Start down here with 0. I'm actually going to make my unit 2 inches. This will essentially double the size. This will depend on the size of your paper. So if you have large paper like I do, 2 inch 2 to 1 will work, all the way down to quite tiny paper, maybe 1 to 1. What you can do is essentially judge your unit to do a scale. But what you want to do is make sure that you can fit it in. So for example, this is 8 1/4 units long. So our maximum length here, 8 1/4. We've got this we've got this bend, which we're going to take into account. It's about 1/8. And we've got some measurements here, which are all inch, which we'll be using as a unit. Our 0 over here is on the left. So I want to be able to fit 2 in. So I'm actually going to start in the middle and measure out 4 units both ways. That makes sense? I think it does. So we're going to kind of draw it sideways. Make sure I'm drawing it visible here. So we're going to start with a shape like this. And we'll do the cutouts, however that looks. Not doing very well here. Something like that. And we'll notice that these actually are opposite. So this is a cutout here, and then we've got a second one that doesn't make it, and then a third one that goes off the end. So we're going to draw it like so, and then put a thickness to it. So that's the plan. We're going to start with this middle line, and we're going to begin right here in the middle. So that's where we're going. So trying to keep my part centered. You'll see that's the middle of my page. And I'm going to draw a line as straight as I can, horizontal in this case. And make sure my 4 units fit on. So that's 2, 3, and 4. I can see that. Going the other way with another lumpy line. Might move this, so we'll see how it goes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Making sure I can see it on the camera. It's not bad. I'm going to move it a bit. So there's my measurement. Now, while I'm at it, I'm going to use what I've got here to add more units to my measuring stick or measuring rule. So I can get 5 on there easily. So let's do that. And I've got, if we look at our sheet here, like the measurements are going down to as low as 1/8. So I need to go for a 1/2, 1/4, and 1/8 if I can, of a unit. So doing the usual measure trick, which is to fold it over. Fold it once to get a 1/2. Again, not perfect, but close enough. So, and again, to get a 1/4. I do the 1/8 by eye. maybe we can do a tiny fold. This is why you want your unit to be as big as you can. There you go, all the way down to 1/8. Perfect. Now, want to follow this guide. I'll show this from time to time. It's out of screen right now. I want to cut it back. I'm actually going to see which side is closest to the end here. Hold on. Make sure I'm going the right way. Yeah, it should be fine. So I'm going to go 30 degrees down this direction. That's all right. Just making sure. Yep. So let's go 30 degrees down. So what I can do is just add a fake outside unit here, and then just look for, it's going to be kind of in the middle, 30-degree angle going both ways. Not bad. So there's my 30-degree angle for my isometric. We've got a curve. We have this point here in space. So I'm actually going to do this in 2 steps. So I'm going to do one entire face first. So how long is this face? Maximum is 1.5 units. So line our units up, 1.5. There we go, perfect. Now what I've got 5 here. So let's try for 5 from that 0. See how well we did. 1.5 units. 1.5. Not bad. Just put a line here to remind myself what's happening. Sorry, a line. Did I say that? A line. And then we've got how many units left at the top here? 3. 3 more. So we're using our measuring stick here to really lay stuff out. Not doing too badly actually. And get our sort of overall size set up. This sheet of metal, which is one piece, is kind of folded in space. It's got a bend. I'm just giving myself some targets here to sketch along. Ooh. Ooh. That's how much coffee have I had? So we've got this bend. The temptation is to go straight down this direction. Instead, we want to put the 1/8. Now, got 1/8 of a unit, so our unit's specified here. So I'm actually going to just go straight down 1/8 all the way in my middle point here. Again, my line's not perfectly straight, as you can see. It's not bad. Right, but just trying to get some lines, some points in space, and give me that inside curve eventually. Make sure I'm kind of on the line. I don't want to go too far off kilter here. Have a nice bent shape. Repeat this line beside here, parallel. This will be the beginning and end of our curve. It's the middle point of our one face. Middle point of the other. Man, abominator. And do the same on the other side. So we're going down. Let's see if we can do this here. Going to be coming down here. So we're going to need a point. That's right. Try and get our point in space. Not even close. There you go, and then we're going to come this way 1.5 units. So I'm moving the half onto the point I'm trying to get to. There we go. Go through these points. Perfect. Let's stick to what we've done up here. We'll do the same thing. So I want to go 5 units up, or along, sorry. Make sure I've got it about right. Not bad. And 3 more units up. And make sure I've got it right. Oh, wait. Not quite. Try and draw a straight line for the first time today. Nope. Again, I can give myself a bit of a hand here if I want. All right, just put little dots on our paper. Abominator. Now we have to transfer our points across. That should be fairly straightforward. I'm going to start at the top here. See if we can see it all at once. Okay, so what I'm going to do is start with these top marks, quarter unit. Next one, what do we have here? Unit and a quarter, so 1 1/4. So I'm going out this way along. It's not very obvious, but we're going out here 1 1/4. So 1 1/4, already got a quarter, so another unit. Next one is 3 1/2. So let's put 3 1/2. Now we have to start keeping track of things. So I'm going to start darkening these edges, which are going to be final edges. So make sure we've got that right. The next point is 3 1/2. That's about there. So just making sure we don't lose track of what's going on. And then we go to 4 3/4. So 4 3/4. So just working our way along, get our edges correct. At the end here, we've got 8 1/4. Now, how many units do we have altogether here? So 5, 3, and another quarter. So that's the end, and we've got a piece that goes beyond. That's okay. We'll have the same problem out here, so let's put our quarter out here, and quarter out here, and quarter out here. Okay, so I did 8 units, which takes us to the beginning of this chamfer shape. So we've got another quarter. Let's add that before we forget. Nice. So next, let's see if we can figure out what's going on here. We've got a 1. Oh, sorry. Let's go back over here. 7 is the next one. So we've got 7. So let's see what we've got here. 5 to there. 7. No, 5 plus 3 is 8. 7 is 2. Okay, that seems okay. Got these 3. Now let's have a look here. We can see here that these are actually mapped across. This shape here is this shape here. These go together like fingers in reality. So we've got these same measurements here. So we have to reuse these across. So let's keep that in the back of our mind. Next is this down part, 1 unit up. So 1 unit. Right there. Now, there's lots of ways to do this, but I'm just going to try for something easy. So 1 unit up both ways, and from here 1 unit. So if I want, I can give myself a helping hand, a couple of dots in the way. Same over here. There's our, this is going to be our lower level, if you want to think of it that way. Sorry, lots of stuff on the paper this time. Going out to our full length. Let's do the other side while we're at it. So 1 unit. Because we're going to have the same. We've got a unit here, a unit across on the other side. For those of you who are cheating with a ruler, don't, just kind of relax. It doesn't look right. Kinda. Point here is just we're getting used to measuring points in space. Like it's a bit artificial. Next video we're going to go a little bit further with this sort of thing. So this is just our first sort of intro to it. Nice. So 1 3/4. So if we say 1 3/4, so that's a quarter short of shoot of 2, so we can just put it straight in there. And then our next thing is 3. Make sure to move it. So I want 3 this time. So I'm going to actually darken that in. If you want, you can start to connect these two as well. Get a feel for what's happening here. Start to see the shapes emerge. Trying to ignore this guy. It's not helping right now. 5 1/4. So we've got 5 1/4. Next is 6 1/2. So this is 5. So 1 1/2 extra to get to 6 1/2. Does that make sense? We're going to be 6 1/2, 5, 1 1/2, 6 1/2, 5 1/4. Connecting these two guys. So again, just have a look here at our sheet. 4 3/4, just short of this 5 line here. So that's good. If you find this a little difficult, feel free to put lots of markers, even a grid almost, on your part. Here, now, what about this quarter on the other side? Because we're on these axes, right, we've got 30, 30, 30, you can actually measure directly on these guys as well because they're parallel to the orthogonal axes. Wrong one, that's right. This one's further down. Getting a bit ahead of ourselves here. So these two guys are connected. Just a quarter both ways. Same on this side. We have this 8 1/4 sticking out a little bit extra. And our chamfer here looks a little different. Now, take a moment to pause and look at this. These are both the same chamfers, but they're different lines, clearly. The reason for this is because they're not parallel to any of the X, Y, Z axes in the isometric. So this is our, for example, one of the options. X, Y, Z in our isometric here. As soon as we can measure anything that's parallel to this, we can measure. So for example, this is parallel to this axis. This is parallel to this axis. This allows us to measure direct. This is why isometric is so fabulous in a way. On the other side, we can do the same thing. So a quarter, connect those guys up. And we should see the same result, right? Stretched and compressed because they're not parallel to any of the axes. Perfect. Let's go through here. 1 1/4 from the 0. This is the 0. So measuring from 0, 1 1/4. Well, actually, we can just go from our quarter and say there it is. These two should be the same length. So we go up. Yep. Next, we come out to the maximum, 1 3/4. That's kind of a 2 minus a quarter. One 3/4. Perfect. So from a quarter to 2. Next one is 3 from 0. And this time I'm just going to work my way along both ways. 3 1/2. So 3 1/2. So that's from 4 to 1/2. It's 3 1/2. Again, because it's not parallel, this edge gets stretched, same as this guy. Next, we've got 4 3/4. So that's just short of 5. So what we can do is just remove a quarter and say, there we go, 4 3/4. 5 1/4. Goes on. Nice. Next, 6 1/2. So we've got 5 here. Let's check. 5. 6 1/2. So that's another 1 1/2. 2. 7 from the 5 is another 2. Let's make sure we got that right. 0 to 5, and then 2 more. Perfect. And then from here, we just go straight up to the end before the chamfer, so 8 full units. Then further out here, 8 1/4. So this is 8 1/4 units. Nice, 5 units. Don't have to put these numbers on, but just so we know what's going on. Perfect. Next, let's go ahead here and start mapping our circles. So we've got this nicely laid out. Let's start with these lower circles. This is not so great. It's not so great, but I've got 2 3/8 here and 1 unit out. 2 3/8. So let's do 2 first. There it is. And then 3/8 from there. Well, 3/8 is, so there's 4/8 1/2, and then we take away 1/8. That means 1/8 to 1/2 is the right thing. There we go. Now we've got this, and it's on the inch line, the unit line. So that's our unit line. On the other side, unfortunately, we've got some other stuff going on here. So for example, we'll notice here, this first circle, first hole in the plate goes around the bend and to a square side, square on the other side. What we can do is just look for our measurement. Say we don't find it, we can put for example, a star or some shape. We just have to find it on the other side. So let's do that. Star, because we can measure across. So there's our star. Same on the other side. Star. I'm going too far here because I just want to find what line it's on. So I've went round the bend essentially. So round the bend. Now this is our first hole, but we've got this square hole on the other side. So look here. So we've got this carry on. So we just mapped out where this guy is aligned with this. Nice. Round the corner, and this one's aligned. So it's a square hole, punched hole. It's a 1/2 unit up. So we go perpendicular to the axis so we can measure direct. There it is. So there's our square hole. Let's do it again on this side. We've got 5 7/8. So we want to go 5 7/8. Let's find our 5 7/8. So 5, and then a unit minus 1/8. So I can use my number 5 here to get that sorted out. So 1/8 to the unit. So there's where the beginning of my map. So I'm mapping around. Getting it right here. So 1/8 short of a full unit. And then we've got 1/2 a unit in. Sorry, strange noises in the basement here. I'm gonna get attacked and killed. So there's I'm just gonna put little shortcuts here for what we've got. These are our holes so far, our punches. 2 round holes, 2 square holes. We've got 3 normal holes to go there. 1, how far out are they? 7/8. So let's do it again. 5/8. So we're looking at this guy right here. 5/8 in. So 5/8 is what? Well, it's 1/8 short of 3/4. So let's put in 3/4 and then go 1/8 less. See if we can find out what that is. Is there a measurement we can use? No. So let's actually just put that down as a mark. That's 5/8. And then we can use 5/8 thereafter. We only need 1 because it doesn't go around the bend. So that's good. So there's our 5/8. Make sure we got the right one. Does make sense, I think. Make sure it's parallel. 5/8, 5/8, just above 1/2. Makes sense. Yes. So that's our hole up there. And we've got over here 4 1/8. So let's go 4. and 1/8 for, I'm using 1/8 a quarter, but it's obviously the same. 4 1/8. And, oh, sorry, made a mistake here, sorry. The hole on this one is 7/8, not a full unit. So we're only up 7/8. And where are we here? That's in here, 7/8. Perfect. So again, not all the way up to 1. It's only 7/8 on this side. It's so they don't crash into each other on the back to back if it's around a corner. So nails can sit beside, like so. Where are we here? 7 5/8. So here's our 5. 2 more. 7 5/8. So we go 5/8 more than that. Just making sure that looks right. It's quite far back. Should be about the same depth as this one. So let's see where we end up here. 7 5/8. So we've got 7 to there, 5/8 more. It's getting a bit rough out here. And then 5/8 left, right? That does make sense, right? So we've got 5/8 here. Because we've got 5/8 on this side. Of course, it's going to be symmetrical-ish. We'll get a bit of fluctuation, should I say? 5/8 on this side. Doesn't matter where I put it as long as it's the same. Oh, didn't need that one, but anyway. And then we've got 7/8. There we go. We're all mapped out. And we're gonna, let's do the depth here first. It's gonna move on to the next video, but what we've got here is this dilemma. We've got some edges we can see, got a bend here. So I'm actually just gonna put the bend in by eye. I'm not gonna get too carried away. So try and join these two guys. And the same down here. All of a sudden our plate is intact. Start to decide what lines are visible again. Down here at the bottom. And the top's looking okay. Now, what direction is the back gonna go in? Well, as we go around here, try and get it in space. Yeah, there it is. So if we get it like so, the depth goes perpendicular to the face. So for us, that means that we're going to go parallel to this backwards. So if you want, you can kind of give yourself a helping hand here. So I can put myself and just kind of aim myself. So that's our direction going one way. And on this guy, we're going to be going the opposite. So it doesn't really matter where I am. Couple of dots. On this, in this direction, we're going this way. So that's our angles of recession, if you want to think of it that way. Our thickness is actually the same as this bend I checked before. So the thickness is really quite thick for this guy. Let's do a little test here. So I'm going to go for this direction. I'm going to use my paper to get my angle good. I'm not going to use it as a ruler. I'm going to start putting some points down. So I'm trying to get my measuring stick parallel to the recession, and then just, there's my angle. Again, same, depends how you want to do it. Once you're used to it though, you can just kind of mark it in. Some of them are a little hard, like you get distracted by this guy. So kind of, where are we here? You think, oh, hold on here. Is this actually the same angle? It more or less is. So right angle in isometric starts ending up being more or less parallel. So there's our prototype thickness. goes over how far? 1/8. Same thickness all the way. See, can we see this? Try and get this parallel. Looks like not, right? It's quite close, but it's off, right? So these are not 45s. These are close to 45, so we're hidden behind this. So what you can do is just to close it off, just give yourself a target and just draw that back. So we won't be able to see it as it goes behind this. So if you want to keep it tidy, it's up to you. Again, we're going to be parallel. There's going to be some fun here, like exactly what's going on. CAD's really good at this. So let's just say, well, it's like that. So again, parallel. See here, I'm looking at this line now. It can be kind of out here. I want it to be parallel, parallel, parallel. Can't see that one. Parallel, parallel. And so might be getting a little too far away to see it here. Trying to keep it straight. Get an 1/8. Sorry, I'm on the other side of the camera here. Just stepping my thickness out, so it's always the same, 1/8 of a unit. Okay, sorry, I'm upside down, making sure I'm not making errors here. Can't see that. We'll be able to see up here, parallel, parallel, right? That's the end of our thickness on one side. Same on the other side. Tedious as it is. This one's quite easy, is it? Is this right? Be able to see it this way. That's the angle. Yep. So we'll be able to see it. It gets hidden by that chamfer. Coming out here, the same argument. It's not perfect, but it will be close. Right. So now we've got some parallel here. So sometimes you've got this problem where it's not really helping. You can add your 1/8 in other places, your thickness. So out here, trying to keep it symmetrical or parallel. So I'm trying to get a good angles. Parallel, not bad. Parallel, there we go. Coming around. Parallel. Again, you do your best, right? Like of course, this is all going to be a little bit, it's a hand sketch, right? So we're not using rulers or anything. It's going to be a little bit off kilter, that's okay. Not a lot off kilter, but a little bit isn't so bad. Can't see that guy. There we go. So coming along. I said try and make it so not so bad, and then I put a abominator down. So there's our recession angles, our recession direction. Kind of going back into the page, following along, just basically mapping this thickness out, going along. And then at the top, we just have to connect these two guys together. So trying to get in here. Smooth. Oh, that's not smooth. Okay, that's not bad. There's our thickness. Makes sense. Some of it's lumpy. We'll fix that up as we go along in the next video. The holes are next. We should do that actually. Let's see, what size are the holes? I'm going to use the ruler off screen. Don't worry. Don't get upset. 1/4 unit. The holes are a 1/4 unit. Actually, let's keep that for the next video. We'll finish off the holes and then start cross hatching as kind of part of the hatching. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Sorry, a little bit off kilter there. See you in the next video. Thanks.